how are you? It's been a little bit since I've last connected with you, but I am back. I had a little bit of a crazy 10 days, I'll just say. Let's call it 10 days. I was going to say the last week, but 10 days, and I'll catch you up on all the things that happened. It's a beautiful day in Calgary today. I spent the morning walking around the Beltline, hot girl walking it. We're back in the hot girl walk season. It makes me feel some type of way. I feel like my mental health and the fog is lifting and I can finally feel the joy, and that's a little bit dramatic, but honestly, I feel so much better when the sun is shining and it's nice outside. So we're embracing it. I love the wind going through my hair. I washed my hair today, so it's kind of like volume-esque, and we are just living in the Beyonce wind, honestly. Okay, anyways, I'm sitting here and people are walking by and I'm practicing my getting over my social anxiety, because I'm like, no one really cares that I'm talking to my phone by myself, right? It's just me that cares about that. So we're just owning it. Social anxiety, we don't know her. We're getting over it. It's fine. Okay, so let's get you up. So on Friday, not this past Friday, but the Friday, what was it? Friday, it was International Women's Day actually, so March 8th. I had been having migraines earlier that week. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I get migraines pretty often, but these were like really intense ones, and I spend a lot of time on my computer for work. I'm like always on my computer. My screen time is insane. So I woke up on Friday, and then my work was hosting an International Women's Day panel with women leaders talking about their success and what it meant to be a woman in leadership and all of that. So I was going to that panel, and that panel was at 8:30. So I woke up, I was making my way into the office, and then I didn't have my contacts in yet. So I'm like getting ready. I cleaned up my space a little bit, and it was the weirdest thing. I was seeing weird lights and like weird auras around objects, and kind of like it felt like water marks on the bottom of my eyes when I was looking at things. And I was like, this is super weird. I've never had that before. Continued on getting ready. I did my makeup. I like put my contacts in first, obviously, and then put my makeup on. And when I was doing my makeup, I was like looking at the mirror and I couldn't fully see my full face. Like, that sounds so weird. I don't know how to explain it. I was looking at the mirror. I couldn't see my full face. Like, it was like parts of my face were missing. So I did my makeup best I could. And because I felt so weird and I was running a bit behind, I thought it might have been my contacts. So I like took my contacts out, put them back in, and it was like fine. So anyways, so I took an Uber to the office. Typically I'll walk and then train, or just like walk to the office, but I was running late that morning and I didn't want to miss this panel. So I got in an Uber, took an Uber to the office, went to the panel. I'm like listening to this panel, and it was so incredibly powerful. Like, it was so moving. There were so many real insights about what they were sharing about being a woman in business, and the challenges associated with that, but also the good things about it. And it was amazing. It was so good. I'm so glad that I rallied, even though something was physically going on with my body. Then, so like I was still seeing these weird auras in my eyes, and then my left hand goes numb. And so I'm like sitting there, and it was numb for half an hour while I was sitting there, and I was like, this is so weird. I couldn't feel anything in my fingers. And it was the weirdest sensation. And so I'm sitting there like trying to like calm my mind down, and like then my migraine is starting. And I'm like, okay, so it's migraine. And it was like killer. Like, it was just all in the right side, temples, the back, like it was everything. So I, after the panel wraps, like talking to some colleagues, and to one of them, Grace, I look at her and I'm like, my hand's numb and my migraine is like killer, and I'm seeing weird spots in my eyes. And she's like, go to the emergency. And I'm like, okay. I was gonna try to see where it went, but then I went back to my desk and I started getting like almost vertigo feeling. So I was like, okay, no, I have to go and just get this checked out just for my peace of mind. And earlier that week, so like this is kind of foresight before I get into like what happened next, but this is kind of foresight in how I was feeling and just like connection to my body really. But I had a physical with my family doctor on the Monday that week, and I was having migraines, and I had brought up in our conversation that, you know, we're talking about birth control, and I was asking her about my headaches and related to birth control, or like maybe something is connected, like my body doesn't feel good, I know that something's wrong. So I'm asking in my physical, and she totally brushed me off, and I felt so confused and disempowered when I left that conversation. I wasn't able to actually address some of the current concerns that I was having with my health, both mentally and physically. And health is holistic in my opinion, so I was trying to like bring in my concerns, because this is like the annual checkup that you're supposed to, you know, talk about with your trusted health professional, to talk about how to address certain things, in what I thought anyways. I've had her for years, but she's not the right fit. So I am currently looking for a new family doctor, which is absolutely impossible in Calgary right now. But I felt so not heard in those conversations, and I didn't feel safe to share things that were going on. And there were certain things I brought up that she laughed about, and like I just felt judged, honestly. And so she brushed me off with this conversation about migraines and birth control and all of that, and then she ends up prescribing me 18 months of birth control regardless of what I had shared with her. And so she wasn't listening to me and hearing my concerns. So anyways, so fast forward to this Friday, I go into Sheldon Schumer, the hospital downtown, and I get in pretty quickly. The admitting nurse screens me, and then I wait. I think I waited in the waiting room for an hour, which was pretty decent. It was like 10 a.m. on a Friday. So I get in, I'm in the back room, and then the doctor comes up, and we're like going through the checklist of everything that happened that morning, and like the sequence of how it happened, because that's really important. I didn't realize that. Is I learned that these like light aura sensations, they start earlier, and this like numbness in my hand, and then the migraine progresses. It's new information to me, and just like being aware of that now, then now I know like what to look out for. But the diagnosis was migraines with aura, which birth control can trigger, or it can make it worse, or you're more susceptible to strokes because of this diagnosis. So he was like, immediately you have to get off birth control. And so that talk about intuition. We're going through it with this doctor, and I tell him, I'm like, I feel really dramatic for coming in for a headache, and he shut me down right there. And that's when I learned the language is super important, and not to like gaslight myself and my symptoms, because it was debilitating. It was honestly debilitating, and I couldn't focus, and like just trying to push through wasn't the answer. He said something that's not like super profound, but it was the right words I needed to hear in that moment. And he said, it's not being dramatic, it's being aware. Like, you were aware that something was wrong in your body. You came in today searching for information, and you've got the information. And I shared my experience with my family doctor, and I honestly, when he brought up birth control, my body just went into full-on breakdown. Like, I just started sobbing, because I have not been heard from my family doctor. I've been trying to find answers for more than that week. Like, it's been recurring with this doctor. So the fact that he validated me in that moment, and there's solutions to this, and like now that we know, we can go into the next, healing process and actually taking action. So that validation was huge. He was such an incredible doctor. Really appreciated that he like met me where I was at in that moment. He asked me if I wanted an IV, because that's a treatment for migraines, is getting fluids in your system, and then he had 2 different medications as part of that IV. So we did the IV. One of them was a steroid, and then the other was just like a medication. I can't remember what they were called, but it knocked out the migraine and the like aura symptoms that day a little bit, but in the night it kind of came back. And the next 2 days, so Saturday, Sunday, were brutal. Saturday, I rallied and we went bridesmaid dress shopping with my amazing friends. And we went to Adorn. They all tried these amazing pink dresses. Are you surprised? Are you surprised they're pink? So we tried on the dresses, or I didn't. I sat there and died because of my migraine. But they all tried the dresses, and everyone was just so lovely. And the dresses that they chose, so we ended up getting all the dresses. The dresses that everyone chose just fit everyone so beautifully, and it was such a great process. Carrie, the owner of Adorn, and one of my bridesmaids, she pulled all of the looks and was just like giving people looks like, here's your size, People were swapping dresses. Like, it was really smooth. So that was freaking awesome. I didn't realize I was that bad, because what I'm finding is I wake up and I'm a little groggy and there's like some symptoms, but then the migraine trickles in later. So when I woke up, we were meeting at 10. I wanted to go to Canella Vegan Bakery and get some nice treats for the girls. So I picked up my sister along the way. So I got going like earlier, and then I was fine until we were sitting at Adorn, and all of a sudden it was just like radiating pain. And I was like, shit, this IV is supposed to knock out the next 2 migraines, but it did not. So, but it was still worth it. I wasn't as dehydrated as I was before. So anyways, so we did that, and then I just went home and did nothing. I read a lot that day. I didn't want to be on screens at all, and I just read, and then went to bed early. And then Sunday it was still here, and I didn't do anything on that Sunday. So on Monday, I worked from home. I was debating going into the office, but I woke up with a migraine still. It was like such a long migraine episode. So I woke up on Monday, had a migraine. It was killer. This is where I actually had symptoms of nausea, and I was so nauseous, and I had I think 2 calls that day, which like wasn't that bad. So I went to bed early on Monday, after work, and logged out at 5 and tried to just drink water. I was like hydrating like crazy that day. And then Tuesday I woke up and I was better. So it was on and off Monday through Friday that week before I went to urgent care. And then I learned a lot of things on Friday. Saturday, Sunday were the worst days, and then Monday it was like coming out of my system, I think, and I was just like so nauseous. So that was really fun. I'm happy to be sitting on the other side and feeling a lot better now, and having more information to know like what I need to look out for and the things that will help heal the migraine episodes. And so yeah, that's the story of why I went to urgent care on March 8th. Happy International Women's Day to me. But I'm super grateful because it empowered me with information and I was validated. So the more that we talk about the things that we're experiencing, the more that we don't feel alone in our own experience. So it's been an interesting week, and I'm just grateful the sun's out because I just feel healed. It's the sun. It's the sun for me. It healed me. So yeah, that's all I wanted to really share today, is just a little update on what has been going on, and I will get back into the swing of bringing you along with me. Yeah, so I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and enjoy the weather wherever you are. Soak in that sunshine and just stay curious and find the joy wherever you are. Okay, see you later.